All right, everybody. I'm here with Zaeem for another Crown Spotlight interview. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking.
Cool. Well, yeah, thanks for joining, agreeing to hop on an interview. And before we get into any questions, anything that you'd like to promote to everybody?
Yeah, I just dropped a mixtape with my producer Jude. It's called Where the Sun Sets. I dropped it on YouTube and SoundCloud. My SoundCloud is just Zaeem ZAEEM, and my YouTube is ZAEEM period. And yeah, I just dropped a mixtape on SoundCloud and YouTube. I would appreciate it if you checked it out. You don't have to if you don't want to, but yeah, that's all I have to promote.
All right, dope. Yeah, and I'll make sure to include those links when we drop the interview on everybody.
All
Um,
right, thank you.
yeah, so where are you from, Zaeem? Where are you from, and what are your skills as a music creator? What do you do?
I am from Quebec in Canada, and I rap. I write all my songs too, so I write all my lyrics. And I'm really kind of a collaborative act. I have my friend Jude who produces all the instrumentals, and my uncle who mixes and masters all my songs. So when we're talking about Zaim, it's not just me. It's kind of a team behind it. But yeah, that I personally I just rap and write the lyrics.
Wow, yeah, it's super dope. You got a little team going. So,
Yeah.
your uncle sounds like is an audio engineer. Is that
Yes.
correct to
Yes.
say?
Yeah.
So, did he get you into, making music, or how did that all start for you?
It started actually, yeah, it did start with him. Because when I was younger, I used to write a lot of poetry and like basic stuff, just like basic rhymes, but I'd always like to put words together in cool sounding ways. And one day, and he knew that. So one day he asked me if I could help him write one of his songs. And I really enjoyed doing that. So it got me into, writing lyrics and performing them eventually. So yeah, he did get me into making music, and that's how I got into it.
Okay, yeah, super dope. Um, I guess growing up, who were some of your favorite people to listen to? Like, what kind of music were you brought up with, if that makes sense?
Well, the music I was brought up with was mainly what was on the radio. I didn't really listen
Hmm.
to much. Like my parents aren't really huge music fans, and my uncle's really the only big music fan in my family. So, and he lives somewhere else. So, I never really listened to that much music growing up. It's only when I started middle school where I got into people like Eminem and Joyner Lucas, and I don't really listen to that kind of music anymore, but those are the people that really got me into writing raps. So I have to give them credit where credit's due. But now it's more like people like Kanye West, Radiohead. I really like Radiohead, Mac Miller, Earl Sweatshirt, things like that.
Okay, dope. Yeah, yeah, very cool. Yeah, a couple of those people you mentioned are some of my favorite music creators
Mm.
too. So yeah, I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Um, how would you describe your sound or style? And would you say it's similar to any of those people that you really enjoy listening to?
I would describe it as, well, personally, when I make music, I always like to push the envelope a little. Even whether or not you actually hear it in the final product is up to the listener's interpretation. But for me, I always like to, because I feel like hip hop is a genre that allows for a lot of boundary pushing art. Because there are so many subgenres and subcategories of hip hop. It's really beautiful to me. So I always like implementing as much of me as I possibly can in my music. So I do think it reflects more me as a person and Jude as a person, my producer as a person, more than it does the artists I listen to.
Hmm.
But obviously, no music is truly original, so there's always going to be like a little Kanye, Kendrick Lamar essence in what I make. But I'd like to think it mainly reflects me as a person.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, super, super good answer. That makes a ton of sense to me. Um, Now I'm interested to hear like what's your creative process like? As someone that, writes his own rhymes and everything. I mean, where does that start for you?
Well, a lot of the time, like, because basically me and my producer, well, my producer and I will get into Zoom calls because we live
Mhm.
pretty far apart. So we'll get into Zoom calls. He'll share a screen while he's making the beat, and
Hmm.
I'll record my vocals in front of him. So that's how the creative. And while he's making the beat, I'll write my lyrics to the beat as he's making it. So that's kind of how the creative process normally goes. But in between sessions, I like to just write down anything and everything that I'm feeling, even if it's trash, even if it's garbage. I'll just write it down. I'll write down whatever raps I can, just to get stuff like just to express myself, and just that expression in between sessions helps me practice for when the actual session comes and I actually have to write something good. So that's really how the creative process goes for me. I write while he's making the beat. Otherwise, I'll write in between sessions to nothing and just try to get expression and the creative juices flowing.
Yep, got it. Yeah, very, very cool. It's awesome that you kind of have that go-to collaborator that you can just kind
Yeah.
of, feed your creative energy off of. I love to hear that. How did you and Jude meet? How did that all come about?
Well, I was on a Discord server,
Hmm.
and one of the producers on the Discord server was like, I need a rapper to hop on this beat." And back then, I was still pretty trash. I don't consider myself good now, but I'm definitely better than I was back then.
Hmm.
And but for some reason, that producer agreed to collaborate with me anyways, and his name was Tate. And he introduced me to Jude, and ever since I met Jude, I was like, this is the guy that I need to work with, because we just have really good chemistry when we're working together. And
Hmm.
yeah, that's how I met him.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, and this might be a hard question, but like what about Jude do you think makes him such a, perfect or really good collaborator for you? Like what is that, what makes that chemistry? Is it just natural? Like, can you put words on it even? I'm
Well, for one, he's really talented. I always tell him this, but he's I always tell him like, dude, you're way more talented than I am. I don't know why you still work with me, but he's talented as hell, and
Mhm.
he's also just he's also just a very whenever we talk and we think of ideas, our ideas always align with each other. I don't know if that makes much sense, but he's just a very agreeable person for me, and
Mhm.
our personalities we mesh well. So whenever I have a creative idea, like I'll text him at like midnight and be like, hey, I want to make a Mac Miller type beat. Can you do that? And he'll be like, yeah, I was actually listening to Mac Miller just now. I'm on it. So it's like we're kind of in sync in that kind of way.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, man, I love to hear that. And honestly, one of the goals I hope Crown can accomplish is like helping everybody find their Jude, right?
Mhm.
Like that
Yeah.
that's that is what I want to do. So I'm, yeah, super, super hyped to hear that you kind of have that going. Um, I guess just in closing, last question I have for you. Hopefully you've had a chance to kind of check out the Crown walkthrough video.
Yeah, I
Is
have.
there anything in your mind that Crown could do to help you succeed? Anything more than, what you saw in that MVP walkthrough? Any top of mind?
Well, I'd say just continuing to because I think the main problem with Crown right now is that it's not very widespread. Like not many
Mm-hmm.
people know about it. So it's not really something you can control directly,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd say just like the only thing to improve really is just to wait until more people are on the app and more connections can be made, because
Yep.
this kind of app, it thrives off social interaction, and social interaction hinges on people interacting. So I
Yep.
think really what Crown can do to help me is just to continue to exist until more people find out about it.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Yeah, we're on it. That's exactly what we're trying to do. So yeah, thank you for that. Well, you know, think you crushed it. I'm super excited to hear this, and yeah, thank you again. Yeah, any last second? For,
Yeah, I mean, you're probably a music creator, whoever's listening to this, watching this right now. And I just wanted to tell you that you should never stop making music. I remember when people would call my music trash, I feel like, giving up. But even if it's trash, you got to keep on going, because if you really care about making music, then you will end up making some really good stuff. So if you're a music creator listening right now, just keep going. that's all I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks, Zaim. I will talk to you, and as always, let me know if there's anything else I can do to help you, man.
All right, of course. Thank you for this interview.
All right, have a good one.
Thanks, you too.